Hello you guys, welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you guys can see by the title down below, today's video is all things computer science at UCT. I hope you guys have a snack, have a drink, and are ready to nibble in with the information I have today. Yeah, as I just mentioned, today's video is 10 or more tips that I have to any incoming freshers or freshmen or first years at UCT. So my goal for this video is to just leave you guys at ease in regards to what to expect and how this degree is like overall. I'm not going to get into details as far as admission, like applications and stuff like that. All I am going to try and do is just to touch basis on just the basic stuff that I feel as though would have helped me if I knew about them going into this degree. Anyways, you guys, without further ado, let's get straight into this video. If you like this video, make sure to check my channel. You actually might find that you enjoy my content and later subscribe. But without further ado, real this time, let's just get straight into it. So tip number 1 is, I feel like the question on everyone's mind: do you need to know how to code? Do you need to, is IT a requirement and whatnot? Guys, I say this with such confidence. You do not need to know how to code going into this degree. The degree is structured in such a way, at least first year, is structured in such a way that it is beginner friendly. I myself, if it makes you feel better, had no coding experience going into this. I did not do IT. I did not even do CAT, which I think is computer and technology. I had no coding experience at all. Like, the only thing I remember coding in high school was in grade 9 for a compulsory IT class that we all took as grade 9s. And I think we were coding Minecraft or something like that. It is a type of degree that you don't need coding experience. That's what I'm gonna say, and I hope that really does answer your guys' question. I went into this not knowing how to code, and I survived. So trust and believe, you do not need to know. What I will say is that it does give you an upper hand. It really, really, really does give you an upper hand. So if you're watching this in January, take some time just to watch a few short courses, watch a few YouTube videos, just to familiarize yourself with just, the jargon that comes with coding, and just the basics, man, like your print and whatnot. Tip number 2 is to know what type of degree you have. So there's 2 types of computer science degrees in UCT. We have a business science degree and we have a Bachelor of Science degree, which are 2 completely different things. So with a BSc degree, you actually have to choose one other major apart from computer science. And I do know that this is something that you do as you apply, but you get a chance to actually solidify your choice or change your choice before registration actually even begins. So as I said, you get to choose a second major. So I'm personally doing computer science and business computing. Other kids, my friends, are one of my friends was doing computer science and stats. Another friend of mine is doing computer science and computer engineering. So I'll put a list up here of all the different second majors you get to pick from. But yeah, as with all BSc degrees, you pick 2 majors. So of course, if computer science is your one major, you have to pick a second major. This is different from your business science degree in the sense that your course is already structured for you. So The best way I can explain this is that you don't pick anything like at all. You don't pick your second major. I think it's only one major with the business science kids. And contrary to your BSc, where you get to pick electives and stuff like that, your business science degree is structured going into it. So you can't change anything. You can't take in and take out classes. But for more information in regards to that, I would highly suggest looking at the student handbooks for Bachelor of Science and obviously for commerce for the business science side. But tip number 2 is most definitely to make sure that you know what type of degree you're getting into. And if you do have a BSc stream, I would suggest to take some time and do some research as to your second major, because it's really difficult. It's not difficult to change, but it's a process. So, rather get into it knowing what you want, if that makes sense. Tip number 3, or point number 3, is that in first year you only have 2 computer science classes. And what I mean by that is that in first semester you have 1 computer science course, and in second semester you have another computer science course. The best way I can explain it is computer science, the subject. Like in high school you have your physical sciences, you have your geographies. So the actual computer science course, there's only 2, and you take 1 in first semester, and if you pass the first semester one, you are eligible to do the second semester course. Editing Dini here, but I also just wanted to add that if you don't do well in your first test in the first semester, you are given the option to join or change your course into a extended course, which just means that your degree will be a little bit more extended, and that first semester course you'll do for an entire year. I don't know if that's making sense, but I'll put up a little blurb that'll explain it a bit better on the screen. But yeah. And in first semester, the programming language that we did was Python. And in second semester, the programming language that we did was Java. So this is just a heads up for you. What are they called? Overachievers. Sana, as someone who used to be one, yeah. So for anyone who's an overachiever and who wants to know and wants to plan ahead, basically, if it helps, in first semester we do Python, and in second semester we do Java. Python, what I will say, is a very beginner friendly programming language, which is why I think it's very easy for people who don't have any coding experience to quickly get a hang of it, especially if you follow the rest of my tips going forward in the video in terms of assignments and stuff. I think you will be perfectly fine. But knowing that most people who are watching this video are watching it pre-first semester, I would highly suggest just doing some research on Python and just familiarizing yourself with the IDE and just the environment in general that comes with Python. Like, as I said, the jargon, the functions, and so on. So point number 4 is in regards to both of these first semester and second semester courses. And please, guys, forgive me if I've been saying term. I actually meant to say semester, but if I haven't been saying term, so be it. Okay, so the first and second semester course, they are quite different, but there are similarities between the two, and that's what I want to discuss in this point, and what you should expect, or at least what is expected of you going into these two courses. Although yes, they are different in terms of lectures, in terms of content. Obviously the first semester one is Python and the second semester one is Java, so obviously the courses are going to be structured a bit differently in terms of the content that is being taught and how it's being taught, but the structure of the course is quite linear. And what I mean by that is that for both the first and second semester courses, comp-sci courses, you have 2 theory tests, which is theory tests. I mean, it's in the name, like the content that you learn. And then you have 2 practical tests. And those 2 practical tests obviously are testing your coding and so on and so forth. What I will say about the practical tests, which I have touched on in my previous vlog, about where I vlogged my day in a life as a comp-sci student. What I will say about the prac sessions is that you get 2 chances. So for an example, for the first practical test that you'll sit down for, you'll have that session, and if you feel as though you didn't do well, you have a second chance to redo the practical test. Obviously it won't be the same test, but it is going to be testing the same content, if that makes sense. And it is quite linear. It's the same for both the first semester course and the second semester course. So yeah, you have 2 theory tests, 2 practical tests, and 1 exam. Another thing that you must be wary of is that you have 1 assignment per week. There are a few exceptions with test week. Some assignments can be extended if your class rep asks. You know, if majority of the class is feeling as though they are behind on an assignment or they have too much to do, you are allowed to ask your course convener, who I assume will be Aslam again this year. Yeah, you are allowed to ask for an extension. So there will be a computer science group. I think I have that in my next points, but there is a computer science group every single year for every single course where every single computer science student is in. So if majority of the kids are like, hey class rep, we feel as though we cannot finish the assignments in time. I know because usually, I mean, for both first and second semester, our assignments were due on Fridays. And there would be days, or there would be weeks where our assignments would be pushed to a Saturday or a Sunday. So yeah, you have 1 assignment per week, and it covers the content that you did the previous week. Yeah. Editing me again, and I just wanted to add on to that. There's one very important thing that I forgot, and that is the fact that each week you have a practical session. And what you do in that practical session is that you go over, or you are tested on, the content that you covered the previous week. So similar with the assignments, each practical session will cover the content that you did in the previous week. Okay, so point number five is that, I mean, depending on how you feel about what I'm about to say, it could be a good or bad thing, but unfortunately for me, because I don't like online classes, the first semester computer science course is online. And what I mean by that is the content that you're taught is online. So you have videos that are uploaded each day where you watch the video, make your notes. Sometimes you'll integrate a quiz, but you do have 1 in-person lecture per week. And the point of that in-person lecture is to, consolidate the material or the content that you've been learning the previous week. So similarly with the assignments, the in-person lecture and the assignments are based on your previous work. Your previous week's work. So week 2's assignment, week 2's in-person lecture will cover week 1's content, if that makes sense. Tip number 6 is that the second semester course is different. Obviously, it's different from the first semester course, because with the second semester course we had lectures every single day. Yeah, I don't want to get into too much detail on what is covered each day of the week, because I feel like that's a bit too much information, a bit too confusing. But yeah, you have classes in-person classes every single day. What I can say though is that there are 2 sessions. So there's a 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. class, and then there's a 12 p.m. class to then there's a 12 p.m. class to 1 p.m. I may be incorrect, I may be getting it wrong. It's either 10 to 11 and 11 to 12, or it's 11 to 12 and 12 to 1. I'll put a little thingy up here, but the point of the matter is you have 2 options. And you don't have to attend both. You get to pick which one you choose. So yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that you still have to attend classes for 5 days. Yeah, and there is no online material that is being taught. There is no revision lecture, contrary to the first semester class. But apart from that, everything else remains the same in terms of as I said, the two theory tests, 2 practical tests, the 2 chances to write the practical test, the 1 assignment per week. Side note, Java is, well, personally, I enjoyed the second semester comp sci course more. So if you try your best if you really hone in on the basics for the Python for the first semester comp sci course, you will be fine for Java, because you literally are just applying those same skills to Java. And of course, Java is a bit more complicated, but that's neither here nor there. Tip number 7 is to utilize your prescribed textbook. Guys, I don't want to make this tip very long. I think it's in the wording. But those textbooks are so good, because not only will you find some of the assignments that you do, but also I know that some of the practical tests are loosely based on the examples that are in the textbooks. The textbooks perfectly explain all of your content. And what other thing? They are perfect for studying. Also because most of your lecture notes and lecture material is based on these textbooks, especially for both Java and Python. So I would highly suggest using the textbook for studying, and even for practical assignments, even for assignments in general. Practical tests and assignments in general. Like, those textbooks are holy grail, honestly. If you want to do well in comp sci, utilize your prescribed textbook. Tip number 8 is that, unfortunately, for those of you, or for those of us who did not want to take maths in university, sweetie, you better prepare yourself, because maths is a requirement for computer science. And I think maths is also a requirement for all the other BSc majors. So you basically have to take maths. But the good news is there's a difficult maths, and there's the not easier but easier maths. I mean, at least compared to the more difficult maths. I personally took the easier maths because I did not see the point of taking the more difficult math. If anything, we were advised to not take the difficult math if you didn't need it, and I did not need it for my degree. So yeah, But what I will say is definitely speak to a student advisor. That I would highly suggest. And what I will say is a lot of the kids usually fall into the trap of taking the more difficult math because they think that, oh, you know, like I did well in high school, I got A's in high school, you know. And what I'm gonna say is please don't fall into that trap. Like, if you really do not need, if it's not a requirement for you to take the more difficult math, I would advise against it because it is quite difficult, obviously, and also it will end up eating away from all your other degrees, all your other courses. So yeah, it's just food for thought, man. If you know you can handle if you did AP maths in high school, I think it still applies. I think the rule still applies because I have a friend who took AP math, and she still found the courses a bit difficult, especially the second semester one. So just a heads up, again, speak to a student advisor about this. But that's my 2 cents. Tip number 9 is in regards to your laptop requirements. So there are laptop requirements, unfortunately, for computer science, but I'll put them up on the screen. They aren't anything crazy at all. All you really genuinely need is just a good laptop with enough RAM, and you'll be fine. And a little bonus tip or little nudge is that UCT provides laptops to people who need them. And I'm sure if you're first year, you've already received the email. I think everyone received this email, if I'm being honest. But yeah, you get a chance to, you know, get the school provide a laptop for you. I will say, like, it's genuinely a great quality laptop, don't get me wrong, but the specs for me personally, you know, the specs are good. Okay, I think that's all I'll say. The specs are good. They're not great, but they aren't bad. You know, they really aren't bad. So it is a good laptop. I have friends who went through that route, and their laptops are still perfectly fine and working well. So, but another thing is that they are different each year, because my friends who are in second year have a different laptop from my friends who, you know, took the whole laptop thing in first year, like the year I'm in. So, but I will say though, for the NSFAS kids, is that you pay for the laptop through your book allowance. So they take money from your book allowance to add to the cost of the laptop. So that's something to consider. You know, it is 5,000 rand. So yeah. And then tip number 10. This one is in regards to the assignment, because yeah, I think I wish someone had told me these next things that I'm about to say. So yeah, as I said, you have 1 assignment per week, and that assignment is obviously covering the previous week's content. And I made the example about week 1 and week 2. So week 2's assignment is going to be all about week 1's content. That's point number 1 in terms of assignments. Point number 2 in terms of assignments is that please learn your week 1 content and be comfortable with your week 1 content before you attempt the assignments. Please. If you stay up to date, you know, and you attend your lectures and you know, make your notes, this won't really be too much of an issue for you. But what this does, this whole thing of being familiar with the, you know, the content that the assignment is on, is that it genuinely does make the assignment more easier to do. You are able to write your algorithm a bit more faster, able to figure out things a bit more faster. And yeah, it's genuinely just going to help you in the long run, even when it gets to your practical tests and your theory tests and whatnot. Like it genuinely is here. Like this point is there to help you. So please be familiar and be comfortable with your previous week's content before you attempt the assignment. And then my second point, third, second, whatever. My next point is, please start your assignment as early as possible. I mean, a week early is perfect, you know. And I'm not saying finish it a week early. I mean, if you want to, you can. There's kids who I know who have done that and who do that. But my point is, please start your assignment as early as possible, because as the semester goes on, everything becomes a bit more overwhelming. You know, it's for your best. I'm saying this with your best interest in mind. And then the next point within tip number 10 is to ask for help. So there's two ways you can, actually there's more than two ways you can ask for help, especially in regards to assignments. But I find that these two are the most effective and most helpful. One, group chats. Each computer science course, my first semester course and my second semester course, they both had group chats, WhatsApp group chats to be specific. And in these group chats, it's all the other computer science kids. And I want to preface this by saying the reason why the first semester course is online is because there's a lot of kids who take the first semester computer science course. So it would be a bit too, it's too high of a demand. Because I know like actual science kids take this course. I think engineering kids take this course. Like a lot of people take the first semester course. So that's besides the point. What I'm trying to say is those groups are going to be very, very, very helpful. There are a lot of people on there who will go out of their way to help. There would be times where obviously like there's rules. You cannot post your code on a group. It's just against the rules. But you can ask for help. You know, you can privately message someone and say, hey, you know, send them a V1 pic and say, you know, can you please help me analyze my code and see where I'm going wrong? Or, you know, there's always those smart kids who will go out of their way to help people. You know, we had a few in my year, and I am more than sure and I'm more than confident that there will be those subset of kids who will go out of their way to help you guys. And it is usually class reps, or at least people who have been coding, you know, who are a bit more comfortable with helping other people and who know their work intuitively. But yeah, that's one way to ask for help. Another very, 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 very good way to ask for help is to go to hot seats. So hot seats are basically, it's when tutors allocate, I think it's between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. every single day, Monday to Friday, where you can walk into the hot seat and just ask for help. You know, show a tutor your code and help them, and have them help you figure out where to go, what to do, you know, and stuff like that. So, and obviously there are going to be other kids. You don't have to pre-book. You don't have to, you know, have an appointment. No, you can easily walk in with your laptop, ask for help, and bounce. So hot seats are another really, 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 really good alternative, especially because like there would be times in the Java course, the second semester course, where no one knew what to do. You know, even the smart kids were like, we don't know what to do. And it really is helpful to know that there's second years, third years, honors students who are more than happy and more than willing to help. I mean, they're getting paid for this, so I mean, they kind of have to help, but yeah. And then, yeah, now I just want to get into some bonus tips that I'm just going to think of from the top of my head. So one bonus tip would be Comp-sci, contrary to popular belief, is actually very, very, very theory heavy. So please go into this prepared for theory. You know, computer science is not just about coding. If anything, I feel like computer science is 75% theory and 25% coding. So just be prepared to learn. Be prepared to learn, please. It's a very, very, very fun course. I think the content is quite enjoyable, even if you aren't necessarily passionate about comp-sci. Not that like you have to be passionate to do comp-sci, but like even if you are in the position of you don't know what you're getting yourself into, trust and believe you're more than likely to enjoy what you're doing. And if you don't enjoy it, please leave. Please change your degree, because from what I've heard, it gets worse. It genuinely does get worse. I know that second year the theory is taken to a completely different level. So yeah. Another thing that I will say is that I know I said I don't like online school. I still don't like online school. I don't like being taught things online. But both first and second semester tests and exams are online. Even obviously the practical is online because you have to code. But yeah, the tests are online and the exams are online. So just again, this goes back to a good laptop. Make sure you have a great working laptop that, you know, doesn't die after an hour, you know, because you write an exam for, I don't know, I think our comp sci exam was like 2.5 hours or something like that. So again, everything is online, tests and exams. Contrary to the practical tests, you don't get your marks immediately, because for some tests, and for all tests, there are parts where you have to manually type in stuff, and obviously that can't be something that a computer can do. So tutors and, you know, everyone involved behind the scenes will have to go in and manually mark your content. So that's also just why it's never an immediate mark. Yeah. Another thing I will say, another bonus point would be, please join Women Intake or your I think it's DevSock. I think it's Developer Society or Developer Society. Please join. I made the mistake of not joining, and I missed out on a lot of internships, a lot of work opportunities, just so much knowledge that is so useful going into computer science. And I know it is something that All the way to has touched on. If you guys don't know, she is the pioneer of anything UCT computer science related on TikTok. You guys should make sure to check out her videos. I'll try my best to link it down below, but very relatable girl, love her to bits. But she has touched on how, yeah, DevSock and Women in Computer Science are great societies to join, and for various reasons, including internships and, you know, all the knowledge that you get. I am personally not in one, but I am planning on joining now that I'm in second year. And yeah, just join, please. My last point, and this one's a bit more lighthearted, don't worry. Actually, it's not, depending on what type of person you are, if you're an introvert or extrovert. But my biggest point, and I think actually this one is the most important one. This is the most important point, is to make friends in your degree. I know you guys have heard this countless times, from millions and not millions, but like from many YouTubers and many TikTokers who give first year tips and, you know, student advice, but they aren't lying. You know, my best friends are all doing computer science. Of course, like I have more best friends who aren't doing computer science, but like majority of my friends are doing computer science, okay? And I think it's very important that you have friends in your degree, because there's times where I am confused with the code. and I know that I can rely on my besties. You know, there's times where we are all going through the most. We are all behind on assignments. We are behind on notes and studying, and having that community of just knowing that you're not alone, even if it's a subconscious thing, it really does help. It really does help. Yeah, man, just also because like a lot of your courses will also overlap, you know, so there's also that as well. There's that thing where the assistance you get extends computer science, you know. So I would highly suggest making friends in the degree, at least one or two. I mean, I have my three good friends are doing computer science. Of course, you know, I have friends in, I'm not saying don't make friends in other degrees. Like, I have friends in other degrees. Like, I have best friends in other degrees. But it's also very important to make friends in computer science. Trust me, you have to. You have to. But that's it for today's video, you guys. If you guys have any more questions, as I always say, leave them down below, or hit me up on Instagram or TikTok, which I will leave in the description box down below. Yeah, you guys, I hope this has given you, you know, I don't know, enough fuel, enough energy, you know, you feel a little bit less, and like your anxiety is a bit lower, because I know how it's like to go into a degree and not knowing what to expect. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I hope to see you guys soon. And yeah, what I will say before I go is definitely expect more vlogs, because I see that you guys really like my vlogs more than my educational content. But you know, hey, I give the people what they want, you know, so definitely expect more vlogs this year. But apart from that, have an amazing day, and I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.